Hey there, everybody. Happy Monday to you. It's a whole 47 degrees here, so we're kind of enjoying a bit of spring. I'm teasing y'all. I know that there are parts of the country that are super, super cold, and my heart goes out to you guys. But anyway, it's been really nice here. It's 45, it's sunny, so I'm really enjoying the day. I have 4 new journals to go in the shop. These are our shabby, tatty, Victorian, vintage patchwork journals that I've been having so much fun with. It's given me a great opportunity to use fabric that I only have pieces and parts of, and it's a great way to use up your scraps and make something that's really fun. This one is called Postal. There's a collage on the front. This is like a 5-layer collage, and I like her butterfly wings back here. She looks like a sassy mama. So if sass is in your vocabulary, then maybe this is the journal for you. They are closure. The closures are just ribbon, so we can undo the ribbon here. We'll take you through these. 4 signatures, 8 pages. 4 signatures, 8 pockets, 120 pages. And the 120 pages are like in each signature. They don't include these pockets that are just chock full of postcards, some vintage postcards, map imagery, some vintage map imagery, things to color, things to write on, some magazine pages. You guys know that I'm really super fond of using magazine pages. This is a little bit of pattern paper, very tatty, ratty, text pages. I love the foxing here on this book. I think that text pages are so interesting. This says A Tale of Two Martins. Text pages are so interesting, especially when they come from super old books. I always like to think about who turned the page, who was reading the book. Now, this particular book is, I found it in Florence when I was in Italy, and it was on the shared bookshelf. You took a book and left a book, which is exactly what I did. And I really did enjoy reading about this Nicholas, the Tsar Nicholas. And of course, that was the Rasputin story. And boy, what a rascal he was. I think there is a new Marvel movie, maybe about Rasputin. Maybe it's not Marvel. Maybe it's DC Comics. I can't remember exactly what it is now. Michelle was the inspiration behind so much of what's going on in the pockets of this book. She sent me a box of goodies, and they were immediately like pressed into service. This is from our friend Miss C. She sent salvage script recipes, a guest check from Michelle. I have all kinds of goodies in here for you to craft with, to work with, to be inspired by. Another old recipe, a little bit of sheet music. I love trees, and I was really happy to find the Christmas paper pads for $5 at Michael's. I had such a fun time pawing through those. This is 1992 Cross Stitch magazine. This is some Polish text, some religious Polish text. Another piece from Michelle. I had such fun plowing through those $5 paper pads, and I want to go back to Michael's on our next day out and see if I can find some more. The cool thing about Christmas paper pads is to get the alternative, not red and green and that kind of thing, but to go for the white colors, to go for those off-whites, those amberish colors, just the really non-traditional kind of paper pads. It was a Christmas paper pad, but to me that looks very non-Christmas, and very inviting to work upon. This is 1857 Report to Congress about agriculture, a really sweet piece. This is Saffron Crocus. I found a book of vegetables and herbs. It was a Better Homes and Gardens ring-bound book from, I want to say 1978, because it spoke to me because my son was born in my first son was born in 1979. This is from A Gardener's English History. This is Queen Victoria. And I was really happy to find that piece. Lots of places for you to write. Maybe you'd like to experiment with white pen here. Layers and layers of colors, of ideas. You can use this as a glue book. You can use it as a notebook. You can use it as a commonplace book. A commonplace book is just one of those books that kind of follows you around. I have a commonplace downstairs. I use it to track what I'm doing as far as cleaning in the house, because life is busy and sometimes I can't remember the last time I cleaned the fridge, or I can't remember the last time that I washed the sheets, or so everything is tracked in that book, and it very much helps me kind of keep the house in reasonable order. But with 2 dogs, and we've had wet weather the past, it seems like a long time. There's mud everywhere. There's just no way for me to keep up with. I can't keep up with the mud. I told my sister that the other day. My sister and my sister-in-law was like, if should I die, you have to come in my house. It's really messy. I said, it's just muddy. I cannot keep clean with the dogs. And I'm the kind of person who allows the dogs on the furniture. Now, saying that, we bought our furniture in 2005. Some of it in 2005, some of it in 2007. So it's old furniture, but that's okay because that works really well with the dogs. I don't know how we got off on talking about that, but anyway. Commonplace, a commonplace book. I finished these off using a small ring, and I tied different frilly laces and fibers onto it. That really worked well. Of course, the cover is patchwork, sewn patchwork. The more I sew, the more I embrace it, and the more I get used to it, and the less aggravated with it I am. Another collage piece on a piece of my coffee dyed index card here with a little sewing on the side. It says Trevo. Very pretty. Right there, and I think she did turn out very pretty. So let's see what we have here. Again, this is Michelle. Look at that. I gotta pull this out and show it to you. The color is just fantastic. I just think it's so pretty, and it's another sewn element. Thank you, Michelle, for sometimes you get a book, or you get a box, or you get a Happy Mail. It opens you up. It fires your imagination. It fires your creativity. I think that's why books like this are fun to get. They're not just full of pretty things. They hopefully will inspire you in your art and in your creativity to write, to draw, to collage. I'm super fond of collage. My uncle was an amazing collage artist. And I remember watching him put his big collages together. So, very near and dear to my heart. This just turned out to be a pink pocket. I'm never quite sure how things happen. I love this, to find yourself. And the cool thing about this pocket is you've got a little element that has a clock on it. There's a tree element here, airplanes, animals, Jackson Lake. This is a vintage postcard right here. You know, all speaking to the ability for you to find yourself and how do you seek yourself. That would be a great journal prompt for you to write about in this book. We have some Paris imagery right here. I think seeking yourself is difficult. It's hard to still your mind and discover yourself. This is just from a magazine. A bit of Shakespeare, my big book of Shakespeare, 2,500 pages of all kinds of wonderment. I use my big book of Shakespeare as a press when I make these books. There's a process of layering on the fabric and then sewing that that piece of paper to, not sewing, to the glue, gluing the paper. Okay, let's just start over. The fabric goes on the paper, and then I sew the paper and the fabric together. Then the paper and the fabric go onto a cereal box. Whew, there we go. I got it. It's a little late in the day. This one turned out kind of hippie, boho-ish. You got a little bit of glitter here, a little bit of glitter here. This is a cheese label from Michelle. It says Leo. There's a little hippie chick here. I think she's super cool. Again, from Michelle. And an element that has yellow leaves on it. And this is a genuine 1977 calendar. I got married in 1977. Hard to believe. A, it's hard to believe I got married. And B, it's hard to believe it was 1977. I love this little magazine page. It says, I read past my bedtime. Oh, to just read. Read and read and read and read. Right now, I'm reading The Lost Apothecary. And I'm not sure if I'm going to finish it. I'm just not sure about that particular read at this, time of the year or time of life or whatever. I'm not quite sure. You know how sometimes you pick up a book and it's like, I'm not gravitating to this right now. And then I'm reading on my Libby app. And sometimes you pick up a book and it's like, wow, this is exactly what I needed to hear at exactly the time I needed to hear it. I was like that with Matt Haig's Midnight Library. Oh my gosh, you guys, if you have not read The Midnight Library, please read it. It kind of helps you redefine where you are and why you are where you are. It's one of the best reads I believe I've ever come across. I've also been watching A Discovery of Witches. I'm really enjoying that. I rewatched the first season of The Witcher, which I really enjoyed as well. Big fan of Henry Cavill. We've talked about that before. And Chris and I are doing the second season of The Witcher right now, but he's been working a lot, and so I'm waiting on him to have a night off so we can watch that together, as well as Ozark. We're pretty excited about Ozark. I think this is the last season of Ozark, if I'm not mistaken. Be interesting to see what the Bird family is going to, how all that's going to end up. I've got a couple Little Women books. The covers are greeting cards. Now this is the back of one of the greeting cards, and I did a little bit of collage on it. So you've got a depth element here, a little bit of collage going on. It says Little Women, or Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy by Louisa May Alcott. The reason that we've got two different colors for the closure here was I was out of this ribbon, and so I thought, well, I had two small pieces of ribbon, so I just made it one big piece. The ribbons are under the frontispiece of the book and the back piece as well as the spine. Little Women is one of my favorite stories. And who doesn't love it? I just reread Persuasion again. Probably my favorite Jane Austen book. I know we all love Pride and Prejudice, but after Pride and Prejudice, my favorite is Persuasion. Sense and Sensibility is great. I wasn't really super fond of Emma, but that's okay, because I think we all have our favorites, you know. I also watched the movie Jane Eyre on look at that, isn't that pretty? On YouTube TV. I was really kind of happy to find that on YouTube TV. I was surprised. And of course, I've been listening to Inspector Poirot by Agatha Christie. One of my favorite things is to listen to Hugh Fraser, who played Captain Hastings in the Inspector Poirot PBS series. Excellent actor. And he's a wonderful reader. Amazes me when people read books and they have so many different voices, you know. It's really fun. A guest check here, a vintage recipe here, another cheese label, Cowgirl Creamery. You have a lot of blank pages, y'all. It's nice to flesh things out on a blank page. You can write or draw. Use this as a glue book. Interesting things to read as well. Pretty images. We all need a bit of pretty in our lives right now. The world's a messy place. I can take about 5 minutes of the news, and that's about it. I'm all done, as my autistic nephew would say. He was handed a coloring sheet several months ago, and when he finished, he looked at the teacher and said, "All done." And that was the first time that we had heard him speak. He's 9. So now it's a favorite phrase. You know, you say you're all done, which means you are done, done, done. Just like our baby. All done. His teachers were so excited. They called my niece at work. They were like, oh my gosh, he talked. So sweet. All right, and the last Little Women journal right here. This, again, was the cover of a greeting card. Love is a great beautifier. This is Joe and Frederick walking in the rain after they become partners. It's such a sweet quote. Passers-by probably thought them a pair of, it's really hard to read, harmless lunatics, for they entirely forgot to hail a bus and strolled along. Now they're strolling in the rain, and they've got the umbrella, and they've got their parcels right here. It's just such a sweet quote, you guys. And there's enough that, you know, it's kind of covered up right here. But look up the quote. It's just, this book would be really great for someone who is getting married, who has just become newly partnered, because this quote kind of says a lot about love. You guys know how non-traditional I am when it comes to like holidays and Valentine's and stuff like that. So I think it would make a nice, you know, a nice love story gift. This is a big fat pocket here. They're all big fat pockets. These books, of course, don't have hairy paper clips. I love the way all of this came together. These violet colors here, the violet along with the gold writing, and then that pop of gold with the lavender color on this piece of paper. It's fun to curate things for y'all. I hope that it always gives you ideas about the way that you can use your book. This says memory right here. I was clipping things last night while I was watching the ball game. Good gosh, the playoffs have been, I don't even know what to say. It's like you're just wondering what on earth is going to happen next, because that's kind of the way that they've been very exciting this year. And I do like football. I know that's not probably a typical girl thing. Look at that. It really is super cool. Girl thing to say, but I do. I like football. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul. It's Emily Dickinson. I've got all kinds of sweet papers to play with here. Like I said, vintage postcards scattered throughout, vintage recipes. God rest ye, merry gentlemen. This is a vintage napkin that's just beautiful. I love the way it pairs so nicely with the sheet music that we got going on here. A little splash of summer. I'm ready. How about you? And the super cool thing about the Christmas paper pads, again, you know, we're looking at this white feature. These are white pine baughs, but it has these, a lot of those pages have pops of gold. It's very, very pretty. A little bit of summertime right there too. This is from Michelle as well. It says, come on over, vintage piece, American greetings, a guest check right here, a recipe in the back, and this says savor life. A really fun kind of curated element for you. This is a photo that I took in Las Vegas. And now that one is a really old. Went to Las Vegas in 2015 to celebrate my sister's birthday along with Aerosmith. Her husband was on tour with Aerosmith, and that was just tons and tons of fun to go to Las Vegas again after not being there for a very long time. Things to color, things to cut up and play with, lined paper for you to make notes. These books are $35. It's $9.30 to ship them to you. I use padded priority mail envelopes. Somebody asked about first class shipping not long ago, and first class shipping is sometimes a little more than the priority mail envelope. The priority mail envelope is padded and just really nice to use that envelope. Thank you to everybody who purchased these Victoriana journals, Patchwork Babies, in the Etsy store. I really appreciate it so much. I'm always like overwhelmed. Just I just feel so blessed to just be able to create and to pass along my babies to you guys who enjoy them so much. And thanks for letting me know that you enjoy them, and thanks for all the great reviews over at the Etsy store. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks so much, y'all. See you later. Bye.